Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. Today we're going to be playing around with the Waffle Flower Postage Collage set, along with a few accessories. This is the A2 die that I've used to cut out the background. I have a couple of them pre-cut already, so these ones are good to go. But I also had one that was missing two of the stamps because I've probably used them on another project. This goes like this. So I use those two for something else. So I thought I would just use this up, and then instead of making an A2 card, we'll just make a little square 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 note card. Also, I've cut some pattern paper just to fill in a few of these spaces. This is from the Honeybee Make It Merry 6x8 pad. I'm not sure where this is from, or when this is from anyway. Obviously it's from Honeybee, but this came out I think a couple of years ago at least. I've had this for a while, and I decided that I was just gonna cut. Oops. I want the biggest one here at the bottom so I can put my Santa in it. And then this one I cut this, and then I'm gonna flip it and use this in this corner. And then the other ones we'll do some stamping in using these waffle flower sets. This is the Christmas one. This is the North Pole. And then this is just the original postage collage. It's like coordinating stamp set with all the cancellation marks. And then for the other two panels, we'll be using my Sassy Santa stamp set. So I will move over to voiceover, talk through the card, and you guys can watch me assemble this. Hey guys, voiceover Liz here. So I absolutely love how this card turned out. It was quick and simple. It took me about half an hour maybe with all the heat embossing and coloring and whatnot. But I think it's really fun to just like mix some of the panels with just some pattern paper, and then like I do a few that are stamped. You could do them all with pattern paper. You could do die cuts if you want. I really like the versatility of these postage collage die sets. They're so much fun to play with. There's so many different ways you can arrange the individual stamps. You can do a full panel. Originally I was going to do the full panel with the whole thing, which I think I did for like a Halloween card last year. But I really wanted just to do something a little bit different. And this time, again, I had like these 4 left over from another card. It was probably the Christmas card that I made last year, maybe, with the couple of stamps on them. I used a longer one and a smaller one on that one, plus one of the middle ones. So it was probably left over from that. And it was just, you know, like a quick way to make like a cute little note card. Again, I cut this down to a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch card base just so that I could center it on there. I could have left a full A2 there and kind of put this towards the top, put a sentiment underneath or something, but I just decided to do it this way instead. I would do a bunch of these cards and maybe cut like 3 or 4 different prints and just, you know, kind of play around with placement, use different stamp sets, maybe even do some with just pattern papers. That would be fun for kind of like a patchwork kind of thing. And then depending on the pattern, you could stamp or heat emboss the cancellation marks on them like I did at the top corner there. I do add the little Merry Christmas from my stamp set onto the tree panel on the bottom left. It's not 100% visible. Like you can see it at certain angles, and in person it's a little bit harder to see on camera, but because of the busyness of the pattern background, it is a little bit more difficult to read. So I would just be careful when you're doing certain patterns that you know, be mindful of what you're going to be stamping or embossing on them, and just be careful not to let it get lost in the mix. So this is also the first time I am stamping like the Jolly Santa head without it being separate from the body. Sometimes I've done it where you cut the head, put it on top of the other stamp with the full Sassy Santa just to cover up the face. I've done it where I've used a sheet of acetate and like outside he's happy, inside he's not so happy. But I've never stamped it where I stamped the head and then the body before. It was actually fairly simple the way I did it. I probably wouldn't do it in the opposite way. So here's how your stamping preference will matter. If you're doing it where you like to stamp, color, and then restamp to bring back those black lines, leave it in your stamp positioner and color it in there so that you don't move it. Even if you're using like a piece of tape to hold it in place or something like this grip mat that I have in mine, I don't think magnets would be a good idea here. You want to make sure it stays in place the entire time. So you're going to stamp it, color it, stamp it, and then you're going to remove it from your MISTI and then line up the Sassy Santa full body with the head with the image. So you're going to line up the head with the Jolly Santa head and it will line up perfectly. All of the artwork is the exact same with the exception of the face. That's the only place that I made any adjustments when I designed this stamp set so that it's easy to line up. So you're gonna stamp the body, color it, and then stamp the body again. But I was pretty careful not to go over the lines I've already done. So like the beard, like I tried to avoid it as much as possible and just try to get the ink up to as close as I can to that. Because if you have it a little bit off, it will make your lines look a little bit thicker. I think mine was maybe slightly off, like very minimal, because it does look a little bit thicker on the black line on the left side there. But it's not going to be noticeable after I color it anyway. But I did stamp it, color it, and then stamp it again, trying to avoid as much overlap as possible. And it was really easy to line up. I didn't have a problem with it. You just have to make sure you're over it and that all of your black stamped lines line up in those grooves for the other stamp, if that makes sense. But I did that, and then I did the presents on the other one, which I didn't have to do anything else fancy to, which was fine. And then for the backgrounds of them, I'm just going to color them in blue. I do this quite often. I think I saw it on a Mama Elephant video at one point where they just did like a one shade around the image and then a slightly lighter color to help bleed it out and almost gives it like this glowing ombre effect with a bit of shadow. So I did that with the Santa and the presents. With the presents, I started kind of tracing around it with the darker shade of blue, but then I ended up just doing like a circle of like shadow behind it kind of thing, which you'll see here in a second. But I am using fairly light blues just so I don't have a super dark background and that it's not going to detract from anything. I probably could have used a bit of a darker color maybe, but I like the color that I used. It helps balance things out a little bit, but still adds color. Like I wouldn't leave them white because there was already too much white on this card. And I wanted to make sure I fully colored these panels because the other panels were fully colored with the pattern paper. And then I decided to add the atmospheric dots in the glitter gel pen. I've been watching Angie over at Mama Elephant's little trading cards that she's doing, and she does it in black all the time. She'll do like these little dots all around it in black, and it's something I usually do with the glitter pen. I was going to try it in black, and I was like, you know what? No, let's not ruin this. Let's just do it in the glitter. It adds a little bit of sparkle to the card without adding too much. And it just, adds a little bit of like dusty atmosphere, I guess. I don't know. You know how you see those like the dust in a like sun rayed window or something, like the sun's coming in, you see a little bit of like those dusts floating in the air. Like it adds that, but like not in a bad way. I'm making it sound bad, but not in a bad way. It just adds that fantastical kind of feeling to the image. And then here I am stamping and embossing that Merry Christmas on this bottom left panel. Again, it's not the most visible, but in person it is. On the camera, it's not so much. But yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to do today. I'm going to pop this up on some foam tape, and I do add highlights on camera for a change. I did remember to do that. There's not too many though. But for the foam tape, I'm just adding like a little bit in the center. I'm not making sure I cover the entire back. I don't want to cover those holes in there. I want to make sure that I have enough support. It's only 1mm foam tape, so it's not too bad. So I don't mind missing quite a bit of the areas. It's still going to look good. So yeah, that's pretty much our card for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I'd love to have you here, and make sure you follow me over on Instagram and or Facebook for additional content. And until next time, thanks guys, bye.